And we're committed to continuing to do that better. The situation that you're talking about is a really tough one, right? And I mean, we take it very seriously. Unfortunately, sometimes when you're running a company, you're working with some company and you have a contract with them, and then that contract ends and you decide that you can either try to do it better yourself or you work with a different company instead, and sometimes that results in people losing jobs, and that is bad, right? It's never obviously our goal to have that be the outcome, but the North Star for us is we're always focused on just trying to serve our community the best that we can. We are continually investing, especially in Europe, but around the world as well, to build up our teams to do this, and we're going to continue doing that. But I apologize for your personal situation.
Hi, Mark. This is Rajesh. I have one question. I'm not against hate speech. I'm not against free speech, but I'm against hate speech. So I have seen there are situations where people post fake or lies, So I want to know what's Facebook doing to become a medium, to stop becoming a medium to spread lies. I have reported many comments or posts from people to Facebook, but I have not heard anything from Facebook. So I don't know what Facebook does when it receives a complaint from any user, and what's your future plan?
Yes, this is a great question too. So what are we doing to stop the spread of lies? This is tricky, right? Because lies, what the line is between something which is factually untrue and what is a disagreement of opinion is not always a black and white line. And a lot of free speech or just free expression, giving people the tools that they need to express what they want, often means sharing things that people disagree with. So where's the line between stuff that's untrue or stuff that's hateful? We have certain rules around this, right? Where, especially on the hate speech side, anything that is trying to incite violence or terrorism, we just take down immediately, right? So, and part of how we do this is we don't police our own system. It would be impossible for us to have someone who is reading every single post that gets posted. So what we do is instead, our community of more than 1 billion people are pretty good about reporting things, and especially if something gets reported a few times, then it gets to the top of the list of things that we're going to look at, and if it falls into any of these categories, then we'll take it down. The hate speech stuff is a little bit different from what you're talking about in terms of lies, but we also actually are doing something to curtail that. And we don't want to block people from sharing something on Facebook, even if it's untrue, right? But what we do want to make sure is that we're giving people the best content in Newsfeed, right? I mean, people are, you come to Facebook because you want to get the best updates about what's going on with the people you care about and what your friends are talking about in the world. And what we have found is when someone shares a story that ends up being a hoax, right, and they end up being tricked and share something, or it's a scam, then the number of people who report those stories is much higher than a normal post. So what we found statistically is it's about 2.5 times more people will report something that's a hoax. So either a scam or just kind of blatantly not true and verifiable. And what we can do when things are reported is we just show them less frequently in Newsfeed, right? So, but again, I mean, it's important to take into account that there's things that people report that end up actually being good. Those tend to be reported less, right? So if someone says something that's politically controversial that isn't a hoax, we'll actually generally find that will get reported less, and therefore we do show that just the same amount that we would show anything else in Newsfeed. But for something that's a hoax that our community is really identifying isn't true, we're not going to take it down because you have the right to share it generally. So that means that if someone wants to go to your page, they can find it. If they scroll down through Newsfeed, they can find it. But we're not going to be putting that on the top of people's news feeds if the signal that we have from our community is that something is wrong.
There's a lot of really good and serious questions, but I'm going to pick up one from the Facebook page, which is really good. I don't know if it's so serious, but it's from Carmen in Florida. Can we get more pictures of Beast?
Of Beast?
Yes.
So Beast is my dog. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, I probably should post more pictures of Beast. So one of the things that I try to do is I want to use all of our products, right? Because we have this saying inside Facebook, eating your own dog food, right? Which is that, if it's kind of a silly saying, but the basic idea is, if you're eating kind of good human food and you're just feeding something else to your dog, then you never know what your dog's experience is, right? So you want to be, in order to serve our community as best as possible, we don't want to ever have something where we're just building it, but most people in the company aren't actually using it, right? If there are bugs, if something is slow, we want to experience that pain firsthand because that's going to be, in addition to the feedback that we hear from everyone in our community, that encourages us to change stuff. So one of the things that I did was I opened up a page for my dog Beast, because I don't run the Facebook page, but I really wanted to know what it was like to run a page, right, and build up a community around something that you're doing. So my dog, I think, is pretty cute. He's a mop. All right, so he's a Hungarian sheepdog. If you look up his page later, I'm pretty confident you'll be amused by him. He basically has dreadlocks, and he's awesome. And he has 2 million fans on Facebook. And because I've very diligently over the years managed his page, and I'm like Beast's #1 photographer, and I'm always trying to find witty things to say. And I guess recently I've just been a little busy running Facebook and trying to spread the internet and all that. But I got to get back on that because I do view this as part of my responsibility, is to use pages and to use all of our products. So that way I know what, if you're a business and you're trying to use Facebook to build a community and communicate with your customers, what your own experience around that is.
Hi, Mark. My name is Christina. So I'm creating my own company right now, and I wanted to ask, from your personal experience, how and when you start delegating to other people, so you're not scared of losing the personality of your own idea, and if you still have the last word of all big decisions in Facebook. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a really good question. And I think different people have different management styles on how you delegate. And in general, as a general rule of management, if you get someone who's really good as part of your team, then they need the ability to fully kind of exercise all their creativity and all their capacity, or else they're not going to be having the biggest impact that they can have on the world, and then they're going to want to go do something else. So in general, delegating is good when you're hiring people. But I actually think the most important thing is to actually keep your team as small and flexible as possible. One of the things that I'm the most proud of that Facebook has done is, we serve more than 1 billion people around the world, and our team has fewer than 10,000 people. And it's pretty amazing. I mean, that by itself is something that it's only possible because of modern technology, and it means that, there's this general idea that, like, as companies get big, they get bloated, and you get slow, and they become bureaucracies, and you stop being able to get a lot of stuff done. So I actually think one of the best things you can do to be able to stay nimble and actually remain flexible and be able to make whatever decisions you want to about the direction of your organization is to stay small and flexible. And so part of the way that I was able to do that was, I wrote all the code originally for the first couple of years of Facebook. And I brought people on and I delegated to them when we needed to, but I didn't, my first move when I was building Facebook wasn't to hire a team of engineers to go build a product. I generally, each step along the way, have tried to do as much as I can myself, or as much as our team can by itself, without necessarily trying to take on more people. I find that that's both more fulfilling for the people that you have, because they feel more challenged and stretched and have the ability to have a very big impact. And small organizations tend to be nimbler and give you more flexibility in terms of directions that you would want to go in.
Hola, mi nombre es Francisco y mi pregunta es, porque hemos montado una startup de geolocalización sobre ofertas de tu punto de geolocalización y ofrecemos un servicio de Big Data. ¿Tú qué pensarías? Porque sé que Facebook ha mirado mucho lo que es geolocalización y el Big Data. ¿Qué piensas sobre esto?
So this is Francisco, and he just started a startup, and they're focused on geolocation and big data. So what are your thoughts on big data, geolocation, where that's going?
And that is a very broad question. Is there something more specific that you want to hear about, or do you want me to just go for it?
¿Qué pensarías sobre la geolocalización como ofrecer datos estadísticos a las empresas en general sobre todo, categorías de todo. Es un poco grande, pero es...
So he's thinking, how can you share all types of data with companies in the geolocation space?
Exacto.
More or less. So he's talking about how can we share more statistical data for companies on the geolocation space, maybe some aggregated statistics.
Sino que piensas sobre el futuro de los servicios de geolocalización de los servicios que se le ofrecen dentro de las empresas.
So what are you thinking?
Servicio a las empresas, de geolocalización. Perdón, Omar.
All right, I'm
He's
just going to go
confusing
for
even
it.
in Spanish.
Okay. I think I understand what you're asking, right? Which is, so one of the things that I'm really excited about for the future, and jump in if I'm just answering the wrong question, right? So if I'm not doing if I'm not answering the question that you have. One of the things that I talked about a bit earlier is in the future there are going to be all these different ways that people can share, right? And if you look back 5 years, we were pretty constrained, and most of the content that we shared was text, and now we have photos, and we're going to get videos, and there's all this other rich content. We can augment what we're sharing with location and see who's around us. In the future, we're going to be able to create whole scenes in virtual and augmented reality, and then there are other things that are going to be even more immersive and deeper after that. And what each of these require is the ability to basically be able to handle more and more content, right? So if you want to be able to help people share videos, then the technology to be able to do that is big, right? And there's a lot of infrastructure that you need to be able to stream that and make that work out. Location is an area that I'm really personally excited about because there are all these services that just were not possible 10 years ago to build, but that now that we all have phones, and a lot of the phones are powered with location, there are things that you can do. So, for example, one of the tools that we already have on Facebook that it's only rolled out to a small portion of our community, but a number of people are using this, is the ability to have an ambient sense of where your friends are, right? So it doesn't put them on a map, but it basically says, okay, what city are they in, or what town are they in? And it'll let you know if someone who normally is out of town is nearby, right? And that's pretty cool, right? Because not all of my family lives right next to me, and I have friends who live in New York, and when they come out to visit California, I can get a notification that someone who isn't normally around is at least in the city, and if they've turned it on, and that's really good, right? And of course everyone needs full control over that, so people have to turn that on. It's not something that's just going to be on in the background, but overall, that requires understanding a lot of context, right? So we need to, in order to be able to send me that notification when my friend from out of town is in town, we need to know that that person lived in a different place, right? So it's not normal that he was out in California. He was normally in New York, because if it was someone who I work next to every day, then sending me a notification that they're next to me would be pretty annoying.